Please let's welcome Mel King.
Yeah, my name is Mel King. It's not George Wallace. Well, I want to at least get one thing straight as I look out and have a sense of an incredible possibility for this country, and it has to do with the Rainbow Coalition, because I think it's important that people understand that the original Rainbow Coalition I learned about in a Bible, where the Creator told this man Noah that he should take all the people and all the creatures to the high ground, and that if he did that, that there would be a symbol, and that symbol was the arc in the sky, which we called the rainbow. And you know how stories get messed up over time. People started calling it Noah's Ark, and people thought that that was some kind of a vessel that he used to get people to the high ground. So for me, that was the first in the original Rainbow Coalition. All we did in Boston in 1983 was to recognize that if we could get all of the people to the high ground, and we would make a covenant with each other, that it would be all of us that would benefit from the goods and services and resources of this society and of this world, that we would truly have a real democracy and a community that we could all live and enjoy. But I'm here because, frankly, of the ethnic cleansing that is going on by both the Republican and Democratic parties. There's a lot of talk about what's going on overseas, but it seems to me that we have to understand that we have it right here in these United States. You heard Buchanan talk about cleansing the party of people who are gay and lesbian, and you didn't hear a peep from the president, who has to, in his silence, be giving consent to the words of Buchanan. You see it in the Democratic Party, in their attempts to marginalize Jesse Jackson. When you hear them being congratulated, them being the Southern leadership of the Democratic Party for standing up to Jesse Jackson instead of standing with him, that's a form of ethnic cleansing. That's a form of catering and pandering to people in a way that says that we are going to join the Republican Party and that the recipients of what we do will be for people who are principally white and male and propertied. So I'm here to say that I want to be a part of an organization. I want to be a part of a movement that understands the importance of the inclusion of all people. I want to be a part of a movement that has as its definition of democracy one in which all the people are valued and we value all people. Anything other than that is not a democracy. I want to be a part of a movement that understands that the house that we have been built on is built of straw and built of sand, and it ought to be moved and blown over. And that what we ought to be doing is putting in place, based on our understanding of the legacy of what the revolution was supposed to be about, and that we understand that we have the right of revolution, the right to alter, and the right to change, and that we need a new paradigm, and that the current paradigm of the Democratic Party, the Republican parties, is one that is not working. Because if it was working, we wouldn't need to be here. If it was working, it would mean that we would be included. It would mean that we would be seeing to it that people who are hungry have the means to feed themselves, not only in this country, but everywhere on the planet. It would mean that we would know that people who needed housing would have housing, not only here, but everywhere on this planet. It would mean that we understand that the resources that we have, that we squander and that we waste, would be distributed in a way that people not only here, but all over this world would be able to enjoy their rightful part of those resources, that they would be distributed in a way that would enable people to live a quality of life. It would mean that we would have a slum-free society, not only here, but everywhere on this planet. It would be because we understand that to whom much is given, that we have an incredible responsibility, and we have taken much, and we have to give back that to the people around this country and the planet. We have an awesome task here. If we understand that what exists is not working in the interest of all the people everywhere, then we have to understand that we have an awesome responsibility. And if we rise to the occasion, if we put together this convention and move from here across this country, then I think that we can begin to offer people throughout the country and throughout the planet an opportunity to live more creative, more healthy lives. One of the things that we have been discussing is about Khalil Gibran's notion that all the children are our children. All the children are our children. This has to be bedrock for this party. All the children are our children. All the children are our children. We want for our children what I want for my child. All the children are our children. That has to be how we move. Because if we operate from that frame of reference, I am convinced that we do what is necessary for the parents of those children. We can't have the kind of discussion that we had coming out of the Republican convention about family values when they devalue family, they devalue people, and they don't really care about the children. Not only the children here, but the children around the world. I think it's unconscionable that it has taken us this long to get food into the people in Somalia. We were able to use military in order to get oil out of Kuwait, in order to get Hussein out of Kuwait. But it seems to me that any nation that could put $13 to $20 billion into that effort ought to be able to find the resources to get people who are starving in Africa and Asia the help that they need. But we understand but the failure to do that, the failure to deal with the resources that are needed to find the cure for AIDS is a form of ethnic cleansing. And the inaction puts us with our hands right in there in terms of the ability that we have. And we do have the ability to make a difference in this, and when you don't, it is immoral. And we have a government here with leadership that is immoral, and it is found in both the Democrats and the Republican. And this movement has to be morally based, and based in the fact that we are going to challenge the current leadership to develop the paradigm. And the paradigm is one of participation. The paradigm is one that starts with a belief in the capacity of the people to create the changes that are necessary. And this party, this movement, has to be one in which we are going to go to the people and to get them involved in designing and defining the programs and the ways that are necessary to make this country and this planet work for all the people. I have in my bag a letter that I'm dropping off at the Rainbow Coalition office for Reverend Jesse Jackson, asking him to get out of the mess called the Democratic Party, to not lead people who are African American as a beginning point into accepting the lesser of the two evils. We have to say to people, vote for what you want, not what you're told you can get. And what we're told we can get is the status quo, and it is a status quo that attempts to marginalize him. And I say to you, Jesse, I watched you before 50 million people in '84 asked for forgiveness for some of your statements. And I thought that was one of the highest points in political campaigning that I've heard, because many of us cannot forgive and don't know how to ask for forgiveness. And I say to you, Jesse, I remember your statement in Framingham where you said that we must affirm each other. And I say to you, Jesse, I watch you working with young people, getting them to leave the schools and go register to vote. And now are you going to ask them to vote for somebody who marginalizes you and marginalizes them? Jesse, get out of the mess. come into the 21st century. Thank you. Forgot about the, shows we have a party with a little balance.
Thank you very much, Mel. That was a very profound statement, and Mel is going to continue working with us very, very closely so that we can ensure that our 21st Century Party will truly be an equality party and will be a diverse party. That is a commitment, a very strong commitment that we have, because we know that unless we work at it, it will not happen. And we are committed to work at it, as you will see when we get to the Constitution and the platforms of this organization. I would now like to introduce